why did you start Sarah Aphrodite? And what is Sarah Aphrodite?
Yeah, okay, so Sarah Aphrodite is a clothing and accessory line for women mainly. And why I started it? Well, that is actually a good question, because you know how everybody is always in school and then in high school, and then people ask you what you want to do and this and that, and I just never knew what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to travel. So I went to travel for three years, like all over the world. I lived in Israel, and I went to Los Angeles. I'm from Holland originally. And I went to Greece because my middle name is Aphrodite.
Okay.
So my parents in the time conceived me there. And so that's how I got that middle name. And I always thought, there is something there, you know. My mom got pregnant of me there, and I just know, I don't know, like I was 16 and I would hear Greek music and I just would love it. Like it would go straight to my heart. I'm like, there's something there for me. So I went there, and it wasn't, I mean, I had super high expectations, of course, and I was like 20, I think. And then I didn't really like find, because I was thinking I find gold there, you know, but I didn't. But what did happen there was that I suddenly realized what I wanted to do in my life, and that was making clothing. I was on a boat and was looking at this lady. She was wearing something. I was thinking of a shirt with flowers or something, and I was like, that's it. I want to go to school to like create clothes, you know. So I started drawing right away, and I was in Greece. Started drawing, like come up with these ideas, and like then I didn't really, of course, know how to go about it. It was like maybe June or something in that time. And so I started traveling, and then suddenly my money was finished. And I didn't even have a ticket back to Holland, and I was like so careless with my money, like all the money I made in Los Angeles, which was like a lot of thousands of dollars. I just spent them in like 4 months. I had no money left, and I had to go home. So I called my dad. I'm like, please, can you like borrow me some money to come back home? So I did, and I came back home like broke. And then I just made immediately work to try to get into an art academy, right? Or an art school. And there was only one that still had actually entrance examinations because I was so late in the year. And so they accepted me. It was like in my town, but it wasn't like the one for fashion to go to. It was more like a fine art thing. So I did that for a year, and then during that year I just really focused on fashion and like did the entrance examination for the art school that was where you had to be for fashion. So I did that, and from then on I never stopped. Like it was just always, it felt like, I don't know, I had such a flow with it, you know. Yesterday I saw this documentary, Happiness. Have you seen it? Oh, you should see it on Netflix. Happiness, and it's like, happiness is when people are in a flow and doing something that they love usually. So it can be different for anyone, you know, but it's something usually that comes from inside, and like, so that is, I guess, what it was for me. And I just like did those 4 years in school, did an internship in New York, then graduated and moved back. Like my husband is from here, that I met during my internship, and then I just started the line. And at first I worked for a studio, and when I started the line, I really, in school I was really like, it has to be about like making, you know, like making these clothes myself. I didn't really care about just drawing them and then giving the job to someone else, but like really like doing it. And that was always kind of like something that I knew. And so my internship like was a woman that did it like that, so that's why I went to her. Her name is Susan Cianciolo. She has a studio here in New York. And then I came here and I worked for her, and I started my own line, and I had no idea what I was actually starting.
Do you think that she was she the pivotal, was working for her the pivotal action that finally
I wanted to do it?
Like when was the moment that you knew you were going to start your own line?
It was always kind of the plan. I just first wanted to get some more experience, I think. Like, just be with her, see how she's doing it. She had been doing it for like 15 years, right? So that is a long time of keeping your head up and kind of like making it, you know?
So, for you, it was more like a process. It was something that you knew you wanted to do for a long time and you were getting yourself ready for it. It wasn't something that just like clicked and you're like, oh, I have to do this. Like, what was, I mean, that's what I understood from it.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the moment that you said, I'm going to start a line?
The business.
Yeah, and then the next day or even that day, you took your first steps towards making that happen.
What was the most pivotal action you took towards making this happen?
I guess they're like two different things, because one is like really, it came from just a deep inspiration and wanting to do this, and it had nothing to do with having a commercial line, you know, that I could sell and something, but I wanted it to be part of my life. And I had a vision, I guess, like, so working for her wasn't like doing it for me, really. I had my own story to tell, I guess, for everybody, I guess so. And I don't know when it clicked that I thought, let's do the line. It was kind of very gradual, actually. It was very, like, I always knew this.
It just kind of ended up happening?
Yeah. I actually did a line with her. In the end, that I was working with her, we did a collaboration, which was super hard because she's her own designer and so kind of, you know, she has set in her ways. And then I was kind of like not standing next to her because she didn't let that happen. So it was like really hard and I couldn't really express myself. And then later we stopped that and I just went on my own. So that's kind of how it went.
What were some of your initial barriers?
With the starting point, you mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm still starting.
So
it's been like, I legally became like Sarah Aphrodite, the company in 2008. And I'm still like figuring it out, like how do I fit into the world of business and commercial clothes, and how can I actually like live off of it, you know? And this is not just an easy answer. It's not an easy answer if you also want to love it, you know, what you're doing. Like, there's formulas that you can follow and do a clothing line like that and just invest a lot of money, and I don't even think that's easy, but I did a lot of one-of-a-kind things that you can't reproduce.
what are some of the sacrifices that you make? Probably the best way to ask that question.
I don't think I made any sacrifices. Like, everything just went. I invested my own money. I taught at Parsons at one point, you know, here in Manhattan, fashion, so I could sustain the line. Not actually just for that, but just also because it was awesome.
Do you feel like the fact that you don't make any sacrifices, do you think that's hindering you, or are you perfectly okay with where you are and what you're doing and the pace that you're moving at? Like, are you satisfied? Do you want more?
That's a good question. It's not where it has to be, where it should be. I have the vision and I know where it should go. And I'm in the process of getting there still. It will actually, like, that is a good thing. It's like, from school until now, I just was not even really focused on how to make money with it as much as how I was focused on figuring out my own style and how I fit in this world, in this fashion world, you know, and what I can, what my place is, basically. And that took years. Some people know it right away, but I really was scattered a little bit all over. Like, I had this gypsy style, like I would have t-shirts and jeans and like these exotic accessories, and then like these evening, like, more elegant pieces, and like people would never like get it because they're like, what does this do next to that, right? So business doesn't love that when it's scattered, you know. So making money was like, I always had to like recap and think like, okay, I'm gonna do it like really according to the rules, and like trying to just stick with one thing. And then I would design and like get so inspired, you know, and it would be everything always. Like it would be like, yeah, basically a little bit gypsy. And that took years, and I feel like right now I've figured that out, what I need to do in order to sell and to become really like a strong brand identity, you know. And that is like I've like completely, I don't know if that is actually answering questions at all, but
I think so.
It is. I just took the line apart. I was selling on the street, like wanting to meet my customer, seeing like how people actually reacted to the clothes, all of that, to like kind of get a better idea of myself. And then I noticed that people actually really did get confused, and like if they would love one thing but then saw other things on the rack that had nothing to do with the thing that they loved, they kind of didn't want to buy it. So they would walk away. And so I was like, how do I get the attention of these people from the beginning to the end of the rack? And because then you'll have sales. It wasn't that I wasn't selling. I definitely was selling, but it wasn't as enough, you know. So I completely took the line apart in all aspects, and it came down to actually these 5 feelings behind me. I named them after feelings. Like I had a box of inspiration, and like just picked up every single picture out of that box and questioned myself, what is the feeling I get from this? What is the feeling I get from this? What is the feeling I get from that? So I ended up with like 20 piles of feelings that were inspiration for me. And then I thought, okay, which ones are kind of similar? So in the end, which was also a process of weeks, I was left with 5 significant different inspirations. And then I looked at my clothes, and they fit in these feelings. One would represent this one would represent the other one would be a mix between two, right? So one of them I called Black Cat, which is more the elegant aspect of the line, like that Aphrodite jacket, for example, that I just showed. And one of them is called 24K, which is more like, it stands for 24 carats, which stand for the casual feel of the line, like the jeans and the t-shirts, and more like New York feeling, you know, urban. Then the other one is Vegas, which was the really tacky one. It's that kind of, it's also kind of streetwear, but so tacky, and like it's inspired, like New Jersey inspires me greatly for this line. And it's kind of stripper wear more, you know. And then there is Bazaar, which is exotic, oriental, like handmade, like super kind of, yeah.
The gypsy one?
Yeah.
So
it's my favorite one.
Why don't you call it Gypsy?
Bazaar sounds cool. I like Bazaar.
Okay. I was just curious, like, why didn't you call it Gypsy?
I've
like,
considered that.
Why did you choose Bazaar?
Yeah, I've considered that. I don't know. You know, these things are feelings too. I don't know. Like sometimes you just have it, and then you think, yeah, it's Bazaar. It took a long time actually to come up with these names. It wasn't like Vegas was the last one to hit. And
so, what are some of your daily tasks?
Emailing. Like trying to get things done, like you know, right now I'm in the process. It's always different actually. It's whatever you're, if you are arranging a show, it's, you know, dealing with models, with photographers, with venues, with fittings, with castings. Then it would be that. But right now my daily tasks are, well, first of all, I'm moving, so I need to take care of how this can continue, and then me not being here. So I'm trying to like set up good relationships with people that can do things for me while I'm gone. I need fabrics printed. I'm in the works of like setting up that the line is not so one of a kind, but that I can have a small section that is reproducible and can sell in larger quantities. That can make the money. Branding that, I'm talking people that do marketing and branding, and then developing that line. Basically, I mean, without the line, without the product, there is no business.
What about what you do makes you passionate about it? Why do you love what you do?
Yeah. It just comes from like, I don't love everything that I have to do, but the drive, I guess, why I keep doing it is, it's like this puzzle, like finding these pieces and putting it together, and it's so exciting when it comes together. It's like, you know, I have these points like that just hit, like, you know, I'm like making kind of scheming in my head all the time, like how, you know, how is this gonna work, how is that gonna work, and like it's so interesting to me. It's like psychology of myself. And then when these beautiful things come out, I'm just like over the moon, you know. I'm like, this is just so beautiful. I mean, that's why I kind of picked the bazaar line to really focus on and leave the other ones a little bit more to let them rest, because I felt like the bazaar line is the one that comes from so deep, like it comes from lives that I had before this one, you know. It's kind of inspired so intensely that I thought I have to go with that one, and I feel like in that one I can be different than other brands, you know.
So what would you like to get better at?
Yeah, being a successful business, meaning that it makes money. I mean, if it doesn't make money, it's kind of not taken serious in this society, which I also hate. You know what I mean? People, especially also in New York, I mean, people just, everybody wants something. Everybody, yeah. And everybody has ambition, and everybody has talent, and everybody wants the same thing, being successful and amazing. Which I hate, and I'm not really immune for that yet. But I guess if I look back, I'm really proud of what I've done and where I've come, but it's not successful in the eyes of society yet, you know what I mean?
So what's your advice to others who want to start?
Just start. Like, yeah, I would not do it different than how I've done it. Like, just start it, and then like you'll see. Just also really be honest, by the way. Like, do I really like it? Not that you end up somewhere and you're doing shit that you really don't like, you know? You have to watch out for that. I mean, I've had so many people wanting to jump on board saying, you have to do this, you have to do that, you know, but I don't want to do these things. I don't want to do it in that way. I don't want to produce in China. I don't want to, like, deal... I don't know. I like it local also, you know? And I think these values are important to like stick with, and then it takes maybe a lot longer to get somewhere, but I'm telling you, when I'm 80, if I'm still alive, I will tell you if it worked or not.
We'll definitely follow up with you.
We're going to follow up.
Yeah. 60 years from now. Won't be a problem at all.
I wonder what the communication will be like. It'll certainly be different.
Well, email will probably still be around. Yeah?
All right. Yeah, I think that was good. Do you have any more questions?
That's it.
It's more of like, I see it as a life work. You know what I mean?
A life project, yeah.
Yeah. More something like that than anything else, I guess.
How would you characterize a life project versus projects that people start?
Yeah. Well, I guess a lot of people have different motivations to start something. I know a lot of people start something just to make money, and that is not really about life, I don't think. I just really feel like I learned through doing fashion and making clothes, I learned about me and who I am and how I fit here in the world, kind of. It's kind of spiritual. But if I look at all my notebooks, it's all spiritual notes and like drawings for designs and ideas and inspiration. So it's like very intertwined.
Well, we think you're gonna do an awesome job,
Yeah.
and we hope you're very happy.
You're gonna crush it. You're already crushing it.
Seriously.
You're just setting yourself up for success. You know, you didn't jump into it.
And I also think it's
start. You learned how to swim before you tried to.
Yeah, still learning to swim. It's really like you have to have a lot of patience actually, which I don't really have. But I'm surprised I'm still like. I don't know. Like being pregnant also is different. And I'm pregnant. Like a lot of people are like, I'm just gonna keep working and like fuck it and we'll get a nanny and this and that. But I really don't like that hard approach, and I think it could be much gentler, which means that it will take longer. And then you have to just always, which is not easy, but always like think you're okay, and that you're doing it okay.